appeal.
We are having an opportunity to spread our wings and do more creative things from a real estate standpoint and provide more housing for low wealth individuals, because there's a big need in the United States for low income public housing.
The Housing Authority started this project with a few properties a couple of years ago. This funding will allow them to complete the transition of their nearly 300 remaining housing units at 8 properties. People in Linden, Texas want to shine a light on the city's old water tower. As Fox 33's Heather Wright reports, organizers want community input.
The old Linden Water Tower is one of the tallest structures in town, but at night it goes dark, and community leaders want to change that. The Linden Heritage Foundation is spearheading the project. Vice President Sandra Westbrook Skoog says money would all come from private donors.
And we want to make sure it's something the community wants, that the community supports.
Linden Main Street manager Allie Anderson hopes lighting the old tower will give folks one more reason to spend time downtown.
This is going to be so cool to see at night, lit up, different colors changing, and it's going to be something that people want to be down here to see.
Organizers say they want to make sure the 1934 structure remains a local icon. It's a big attraction for music lovers.
Don Henley, another one of our favorite sons, used it for his album cover. So it's important to us, and we want to share it with the world.
We now, of course, have a lot of tourists that come here, Eagles fans and Henley fans that come here to get their picture taken with the water tower in the backdrop to kind of recreate his album art.
Residents we spoke with are excited about the possibilities.
It would cause attention to our downtown, which is already beautiful, but we want more people to be down here.
A community meeting is set for Thursday night at the Cass County Courthouse for folks to give their input. In Linden, I'm Heather Wright, Fox 33 News.
And a company from Longview will attend the meeting to demonstrate what the lighting would look like. When we return, Chief Meteorologist Todd Warren has your full forecast ahead. And a 103-year-old runner isn't showing signs of slowing down. And a group of fishermen have a run-in with a great white shark. Coming up in tonight's Fox Fix.
Your Weather Authority forecast with meteorologist Todd Warren. Obviously, we do have the strong to severe thunderstorms making their way across much of the area. You can see the complex of storms, which is moving out of the region. Not nearly as severe here across southwest Arkansas. One cell that we were watching earlier here near the Jefferson, Texas area, it was severe at one point. It has decreased quite a bit, and this one was moving more towards the east-southeast. Now it looks like it's taking on more of a northerly component. This likely will stay well to the north of Shreveport and Bossier City. The severe weather that we have out there right now is well to the east, or to the west, I should say, over the western edge of the area, and these cells here moving more towards the southeast. And this is probably the activity here which is eventually going to work its way into the Shreveport Bossier City metropolitan area. Let's turn off the warnings here and stop the radar and show you exactly when we're going to be looking at this activity making its way into the region. As we show you, first of all, how far away it is. This is moving towards the east and southeast at around 30. So let's calculate how far it is away from Shreveport. You can see it's a good almost 60 miles away. So that puts it into the Shreveport Bossier City metropolitan area probably sometime between 11:30 and 12 o'clock, given its present speed, and then we would see more activity move in behind it. Main threat with this likely will be damaging straight line wind. Could have a few pockets of some large hail as well. Let's turn off the measuring tool, zoom in just a touch, and you can see the hail threat that we could be looking at in spots, as we do have these purple arrows, which indicate still some decent hail with this particular thunderstorm, which is very close to Lone Star. That's moving towards the east-southeast, so anywhere between Linden, Avenger, Jefferson, this part of Cass and Marion counties. As I put this in the motion, you can see that will eventually move into your region and also produce some very, very heavy rain. This part of the region could see rainfall totals that I'll show you here in a second. That will be in excess of 2, 3, maybe even 4 inches in spots. Now, overall, I'll give you a wider view of what's going on. Northern sections of the Arklatex, Texarkana, you've seen a bit of a lull here recently, but you also have more storms off to your west developing along the Red River. Those will also move in later on tonight. So let's show you the progression of things during the course of the night tonight as we look at first of all what we can expect to see here with the high resolution rapid refresh model, and you can see that moving towards 11 p.m. it looks like that second batch of rain will be making its way into Texarkana. Notice everything stays to the north. Here's the activity off to our north and west. Notice that as we move towards midnight it begins to approach Shreveport and Bossier City. So this model seems to have a pretty good handle. By this time might still have a few hail issues. Also going to be looking at mainly a wind concern as we get, it looks like it's been several hours since we've seen a tornado warning, so it looks like that threat is subsiding and will eventually come to an end, and we're transitioning more towards a wind threat. Once we get past midnight, you can clearly see the decrease in the intensity of the thunderstorms once they move into the southeastern sections of the area by 2 a.m. And again, that decrease in intensity will continue as the storms move out of the region very late tonight. And then tomorrow we'll see a dry day with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Now, a concern that we'll be looking at, I mentioned the, first of all, tornado watch is in effect, something I haven't touched on. It's in effect for these areas of red until midnight, and that is pretty close to what we're looking at. Possible we could see something, probably a severe thunderstorm watch extended further to the south. It really depends on the strength of the storms by the time we get to midnight as they make their way into the heart of the region. And as far as the another concern, in addition to this wind and maybe a little bit of hail concern, we're also looking at the potential for some very heavy rain. This is the concern here across northeast Texas. These areas of yellow and orange, that's where this particular model indicating upwards of 2, 3, 3.5 inches of rain will be a possibility. Already have a few spots that have received that. You can see that along the I-20 corridor, inch and a half could be something that we could be looking at on top of what we had this morning as far as Shreveport and Bossier City. So that's the latest on the rain and how much we might expect and the timing of the storms. So this is what we're looking at as far as your forecast tonight. Severe weather again likely. Wind becoming the main concern as we go through the rest of the nighttime hours tonight. We'll see a low temperature right around 74. Tomorrow, looking at, again, quite a bit of sunshine returning, going to stay hot and going to be very humid tomorrow. Temperatures up into the low to middle 90s. Not really too much to worry about as far as rain for tomorrow, with a daytime high right around 95. These above normal temperatures will continue into the weekend. All of the details on that in your 7-day forecast coming up next. 7-day forecast showing you drier weather for tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Plenty hot, too, with highs in the mid-90s. Lots of humidity. Heat index probably triple digits in spots. And then we'll see that chance for the scattered thunderstorm return Sunday and increase Monday and Tuesday as we cool off to the upper 80s. That time of year where we start cooling off to the 80s, Markel.
All right. Yay. That's a cool off.
Summer is here.
All right.
Officially Friday.
Officially Friday.
Yes.
Nice and humid start.
Toasty start, you betcha.
Thanks so much, Todd. A runner from Louisiana is breaking records and winning gold medals, but did we mention she's 103 years old? Jeremy Roth has tonight's Fox Fix.
This 103-year-old runner from Louisiana isn't slowing down anytime soon. Julia Hawkins didn't even start running until she was 101, and since then she's broken a world record for her age group and earned the nickname Hurricane Hawkins. She recently competed in the Senior Games in New Mexico, where she set a new record for the 50-meter dash and took the gold in the 100-meter dash. She says she wants people to know it's never too late to get moving.
Hold on!
A group of fishermen in New Jersey are calling it a once-in-a-lifetime event. A massive shark estimated at 16 feet long swam right up to their boat during a fishing tournament and began attacking a chum bag.
Just saw like the shadow come up and we're like, what is that? So then we just stuck it out and gave us a show.
Marine experts have since confirmed it was indeed an adult great white shark. I've seen the future of law enforcement, and it is adorable. Meet RoboCop, an autonomous robotic unit now on patrol in Huntington Park, California. It's not the pistol-packing, head-smashing RoboCop you remember from the movies. This RoboCop kills you with kindness.
Good day to you.
But make no mistake, featuring 360-degree HD video and audio, it's an extra set of eyes and ears for police. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, isn't that just adorable? That's the cutest law enforcement agent I've ever seen.
It doesn't have to turn its head. It has eyes on all four sides.
Exactly, so you better watch out.
That's the coolest part. And great white shark. Do we need an expert to tell us that was a great one?
I didn't need it. I wasn't even there. I just saw the video, and that was close enough for me.
You got that right. I prefer to watch it on a screen as opposed to in a boat.
Exactly. Sports is up next. Stay with us.
And now, Fox 33 Sports with Tim Owens.
Welcome back. We're just about 24 hours away from the start of the 2019 NBA Draft, where the New Orleans Pelicans are expected to take Duke forward Zion Williamson with the first overall pick. Now, Williamson has spent a little time in New Orleans after the Pelicans won the draft lottery, and when speaking to the media this afternoon, he said he's excited to call the Crescent City home.
I mean, just the city was just very welcoming. Like everywhere I went, it was just like walking on the street. It was just people, high-fiving me, saying they hope I come here to go into God. I think the food place was called Commanders. Yeah, I've been seeing some people saying I got like chicken tenders. No, that was my 5-year-old brother that did that. I got fried shrimp with some mashed potatoes.
And you can't go wrong with fried shrimp and mashed potatoes. NBA Draft gets underway tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We'll have a complete wrap of the Pelicans picks tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And finally tonight, Danielle Scott has played in every Olympic Games since 1996, breaking the United States volleyball record for Olympic appearances. 2 weeks ago, Scott was inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. That's where Jory Perry's caught up with the volleyball great.
I'm joined here now with Danielle Scott. Now, Danielle, we're here at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. You're being inducted into the 2019 class. What does it mean to be here with family and just be here in Natchitoches?
It's Miss Jory. Thank you so much for being here and taking an interest in this wonderful event. It's such an exciting time. You know, you work so hard throughout your career, not expecting something like this, but when it happened, it's like such an honor. And that my family and friends, some who have come down from New York to be here with me and sharing this occasion, is really awesome.
You've been to 5 consecutive Olympic Games. Were there any that stood out to you?
They all stand out. I mean, only 12 Olympians make a team, and I guess the first one was really awesome because it was in Atlanta, so at home in front of family. I was a rookie, and then just on through, they all have different significance. 2000, we were the underdog, and we played for the bronze. We didn't win, but the underdogs doing really well. In 2004 was Athens. That was really exciting, back where all the games began. Right? And then in 2008, we won our first silver medal since I've been with the team, so the second of our USA history. So that was really exciting, able to play for Long Ping in her home country and then to do so well. And then finally in 2012, it was like pulling teeth and a gnawing back to get on the team after having had my daughter, Juliane. So that was really special, and then to capture a silver again. So they all have significance and importance. You know, anytime you can represent your country, it's an exciting time.
Danielle, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks so much, Jory. That's going to do it for sports. Chief?
Well, Tim, we continue to watch strong to severe thunderstorms making their way across the northern sections of the Arklatex. We do have a tornado watch in effect until midnight. You can see the yellow boxes indicating severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for especially parts of northeast Texas. Wind and hail will be the biggest concern with these thunderstorms as we go through the rest of the nighttime hours tonight. That's all our time for tonight. We'll leave you with a look at the Louisiana Tower Cam in downtown Shreveport.
Now on NBC6, a problem with a pipe in Shreveport results in raw sewage being pumped directly into the Red River. And see how one officer in Texarkana is being honored for his life-saving actions as we salute the badge.
And now, your Weather Authority forecast first, brought to you by Todd Shore's McClarty Ford.
Well, strong to severe thunderstorms continue to move across parts of the Arklatex now. Tomorrow, a hot weather picture as we'll see the return of some sunshine with highs in the low to middle 90s. That's a quick look at your Todd Shore's McClarty Ford forecast first. NBC 6 News at 10 begins
now. From your community, local news that matters. This is NBC 6 News at 10.
Not even a thump. It sounded like my roof had fallen off. That's what it sounded like to me. And I looked and my dog was cowering and my cat was so I knew something was wrong.
A resident in the Shady Grove neighborhood shares her perspective as a tree crashes into her neighbor's house. Good evening, I'm Jackie Jovic.
And I'm Dan Jovic. We're expecting more severe storms to roll into the Arklatex tonight.
Chief Meteorologist Todd Warren is standing by in the forecast center, keeping you weather ready. Todd?
That's right, Dan and Jackie. We continue with the tornado watch that I'll show you here in a second. And quick look at pinpoint Doppler showing you the thunderstorms during the past hour. You can see the main severe weather threat right now over northeast Texas. You can see the flashing yellow boxes. Those are where we do have severe thunderstorm warnings for mainly wind and some hail issues with these thunderstorms. Also, they are moving one right behind the other, so we're also going to have to keep an eye on during the nighttime hours a possibility for some localized flash flooding with some of the heavier downpours, especially in northeast Texas. There's that tornado watch in effect for most of the Arklatex areas in red until midnight. Does include Shreveport and Bossier City, and it looks like that may be about the time frame that we'll see these thunderstorms move to the south into our area. You can see by 11 p.m. storms still north of Shreveport. By the time we get to midnight, we'll see them move in. Get past midnight, we should see these storms begin to weaken, and from here on out, looks like mainly wind concerns with a few isolated large hail reports is what we might be looking at. That tornado threat, it's been several hours since we've had a tornado warning. Possibility we'll see that wane. And then tomorrow, just lots of heat. And we'll talk about that. And of course, give you a closer look at the radar in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you very much.
Sure.
Well, an elderly couple was sitting in their living room when a tree fell on top of their house in Bossier City. The husband and wife are 90 and 93 years old. Their family tells us the tree fell into the master bedroom of the home on Glen Road. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Well, strong storms ripped through Harrison County this morning, producing a tornado near Harleton, Texas. As NBC 6 meteorologist Jesse Kelly explains, damaging winds left behind destruction in the town of Nesbitt.
Residents on Haynes Road woke up to strong winds which knocked down numerous trees and power lines. Today, they spent their time cleaning up the debris.
When the storm hit after 6 a.m., Nesbitt Fire Chief Gary Smith was at home.
The wind started blowing. We were standing on the back porch and wind started blowing, and in just a matter of seconds, I mean, it really started blowing, so we went in the house.
As soon as Smith took shelter, he heard metal crackling.
When I come out, I wasn't surprised to see the roof gone. I was shocked to see how much was gone.
The storm lasted 5 to 7 minutes. Haynes Road was littered with tree limbs and branches.
Coming back down 2879 and 154 all the way back down the marsh, it was bad. Trees across the road, all the way back down to Haynes Road.
All the damage on Haynes Road was due to straight line winds, with gusts up to 90 miles an hour.
Direction the trees were laying, all easterly, with the motion of the storm being easterly. That's a true sign of straight line winds.
With the possibility of more storms tonight, Chief Smith wants everyone to be weather aware and take action if a warning is issued. In Nesbitt, I'm Jesse Kelly.
Jesse, thank you. Straight line winds in Nesbitt were actually stronger than the 85-mile-per-hour winds generated from the EF0 tornado in Harleton.
Safety matters and a warning to avoid parts of the Red River in Shreveport as raw sewage flows into the waterway. NBC6's Alexandra Meacham joins us now from Studio Control to explain. Alex.
Yeah, that's right, Jackie. So the weather caused a main pipe to break apart, so now sewage is being directed into the Red River. Shreveport Water and Sewerage officials say the main pipe going into the Stoner Boat Station has disjointed because of the elevated levels on the Red River impacting the groundwater. So they had to bypass the station to pump raw sewage directly into the river.
The pipe where it's been disjointed due to the influx of the river and the groundwater, you can't actually dig down and repair those pipes, because the more you dig, the more it just liquefies and undermines the integrity of the equipment that's there to repair the pipe.
Anderson says they've tested the bacteria and the dissolved oxygen levels and say aquatic life is not being harmed. Plus, the Red River is just too big and fast for any negative impact to stick around.
It's currently having over 56 billion gallons of water a day coming by. And so the amount of sewer that we're diverting to the river is a very small amount in comparison to that. It's less than 1/100% of that flow, and so it's a very minuscule amount.
Boat launches are already closed because of the river's high levels, so people can't access the river. But people should still avoid areas downstream, as the city cautions against fishing and recreational activities near Anderson Island until the Stoner Force main is fixed. 2 contractors are working around the clock to make repairs and expect them to be complete in a week. And the Department of Environmental Quality is involved in the process. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Alex.
Continuing coverage now, prosecutors filed nearly 900 pages of evidence against the man accused of killing Shreveport police officer Shatiri Payne. According to police reports, Trevion Anderson killed Payne after learning she had plans to take her daughter out of the home that the two shared. Police say Lawrence Pierre and Glenn Frierson hid the murder weapon.
A DeSoto Parish Sheriff's deputy is arrested, accused of coercing a woman into performing sex acts. On June 4th, Deputy Joseph Procell was placed on administrative leave and then later fired. A joint investigation with Louisiana State Police found Procell had arrested the woman for an out-of-state warrant and convinced her to perform the acts in exchange for leniency. Procell is charged with malfeasance and sexual battery.
A new report says many bridges across the United States are crumbling faster than they can be repaired, and Louisiana and Texas are 2 of the worst offenders. According to the American Society of Civil Engineers, Texas, Louisiana, and California all received a grade of D for the overall condition of bridges in their state. Only New York and Michigan scored worse, both garnering D-minuses.
What you pay for, and right now we have been investing less than just about every other state in the nation, and we have the roads to prove it.
The American Road and Transportation Builders Association says 47,000 U.S. bridges are structurally deficient. Louisiana has nearly 1,700, including the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway Bridge. Coming up, a Texarkana officer is being honored not only for his work on the force, but for his actions in the community as well.
Plus, a unique cloud formation is catching attention in Virginia.
You're watching NBC 6 News at 10. With Jackie and Dan Jovic. Todd Warren, your weather authority, certified the most accurate forecast in the Arklatex. And sports with Tim Owens.
where a formation of clouds wowed onlookers at Virginia's Smith Mountain Lake on Tuesday. The photo shows Kevin Hempsolt's waves, which the National Weather Service defines as vertical waves in the air associated with wind shear across strategically stable regions.
And now, your Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Todd Warren.
Did I get all that right?
I would have just said cool-looking clouds.
Yeah.
And been done with it.
I wish I would have talked to you beforehand.
But weather-wise, speaking of clouds, we do have some clouds dropping, quite a bit of rain and some strong thunderstorms. So let's begin with a look at pinpoint Doppler. And you can see the thunderstorms. Main focus all evening long has been across the northern half of the area. That's where we do have the tornado watch, which is in effect. And I'll show you that here in a second. But you can see southwest Arkansas, pretty much a lull. Texarkana did have a pretty good cluster of storms move through. Wind gusts there upwards of 45+ miles per hour at the airport earlier this evening. Now what's happening is we have starting to see more of a southerly component with this activity here in northeast Texas. This is what's gradually going to work its way to the south and east and could arrive in Shreveport probably a little bit after midnight the way it looks right now. I'll talk about timing here in a second. Let's give you a closer look at some of these thunderstorms. First of all, zero in on the activity close to the Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas line here. You can see this thunderstorm actually moving to the north and east, and as these merge, a pretty good flare-up in the intensity of these thunderstorms here near the McLeod area. You can see a little bit of hail trying to develop very close to the McLeod, I should say. This moving towards the north and east, but we have another cluster of thunderstorms approaching from the south and west, and this is one that has prompted the Weather Service to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. This one has the potential of producing a little bit of hail. Let me go ahead and stop the radar here and show you where we are looking at, again, some spots where we might be seeing a little bit of hail with some of this activity. You can see this showing, if at its biggest, golf balls possible, probably looking at least quarters with this activity very close to Jefferson, and it is going to move its way towards Cattle Lake here in the near future. We have more thunderstorms back to the south and west. Click that off here and show you that we have more thunderstorms here moving into Mount Pleasant, Pittsburgh. These two have the capability of producing some rather large hail, probably looking at pennies to maybe a nickel-sized hail with these thunderstorms here in that particular part of the Arklatex, and that too is making its way towards the south and east. And this is the activity as I zoom out here. These are the thunderstorms here which will eventually make their way out of the Arklatex moving forward. So let's turn off the warnings and show you that these moving to the southeast, say around 30 to 35. That being said, let's measure how far this is away from the Shreveport-Bossier City metropolitan area to show you how long we may have to wait. And you can see that it's still a good 2.5 hours. So we're looking at between midnight and 1 o'clock perhaps before this would affect us. It looks like these storms here moving more towards the east and probably will stay to the north of Shreveport and Bossier City moving forward in time here. And a big issue with this, we've seen this cell move over these areas. These cells too will follow in their footsteps. And a quick look at rainfall and how much has fallen here since it began. And you can see that parts of northeast Texas here have received upwards in these areas of yellow. That's 2-3 inches of rain already, and we do have plenty more on the way, which is going to be moving over these same areas here moving forward. Now, as far as the latest here with the model forecast, show you that. And you can see with this particular model futurecast showing you the thunderstorms, again, probably holding off until after midnight before they make it to Shreveport. We'll see a weakening trend as we get past midnight as they move into northwest Louisiana, and then we'll see quieter conditions across the area tomorrow. And again, rainfall potential, latest from the model showing that heaviest totals northeast Texas. These areas of yellow and orange is where we're looking at 2, 3, perhaps even a few isolated 4-inch totals. We could be looking at an inch and a half. Marshall, Shreveport, and Minden before it's all said and done later on tonight. So your forecast, speaking of tonight, thunderstorms will continue. We do have a tornado watch in advance of those storms until midnight, but wind, hail probably going to be the biggest concerns. Again, 74 degrees for the nighttime low tonight. Then tomorrow, looking at the return of some sunshine, plenty of humidity to go along with this heat. Highs in the low to middle 90s, call it 95, and your 7-day forecast shows that we will see conditions across the Arklatex that will stay dry as we go through the rest of the work week. week, as we will see mid-90s for both Friday and Saturday. Lows in the mid to upper 70s, showing you how humid it's going to be. And then we'll see our next chance of rain. Scattered activity Sunday afternoon becomes a little bit more widespread as we look ahead to Monday and Tuesday. So it looks like the tornado threat may be going down, pretty much maybe over. Wind, hail, the biggest concern as we go through the rest of the night. Looks like after midnight before it gets to Shreveport.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, coming up on NBC6, an officer is honored tonight for his watchful eye over the community.
But first, here's what's coming up on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon.
Hey guys, we're playing charades with Michael Strahan and Nikki and Brie Bella. Plus, we have music from Slater Kinney. It's a great show. Stay tuned.
You're watching NBC 6 News at 10.
NBC6 salutes the badge. Texarkana, Texas Police Department recently honored one of its officers for his quick response in an emergency medical situation.
But as NBC6's Heather Wright reports, the officer's caring personality is not the only reason he stands out.
Officer Clint Akin has turned heads a few times on social media for singing in the police lip sync video challenge, for slipping on ice on Richmond Road,
and it made for an excellent dash cam blooper.
And more recently for simply caring about the homeless. This scene captured and posted by someone passing by.
I had just bought a couple of big jugs of water, and you know, I like to carry a couple of Bibles with me, do the Lord's work, and I took both to him, and he was He was ecstatic to get both of them.
Officer Akin has been with the Texarkana, Texas Police Department for almost 6 years, and he's touched a lot of lives. He recently received a life-saving award administering CPR to someone for several minutes until medical help arrived.
If I can keep them there just long enough to make it to the hospital, regardless of what the outcome is afterwards, me and just about everybody else will consider that a win.
Day to day, you can find Officer Akin watching over Texarkana's morning commuters.
I like to act as the flag guy for NASCAR coming down 7th Street.
He says he's not necessarily there to just write tickets.
More than anything, I don't want you to have a crash. If I can get you to slow down just by, seeing me a little ways down the road, then I've done my job.
For him, watching over his neighbors is what he's always wanted to do.
Try to catch the bad guys, but protect the good guys.
Heather Wright, NBC6 News.
Akin was also recently named Officer of the Quarter.
It was kind of neat to